Hey, what's up? I'm Rafael di Furia, aka Rafi D is me, and I am back at it again on another beautiful Friday night. And in this week's video, we are going to be talking about some frequently asked questions that I get. But before we get too much deeper into this video, if you'd like to see more content like this about moving to Italy, Italian dual citizenship, and living life abroad, please be sure to subscribe with that notification bell turned on. And if you could also give this video a like, I'd really appreciate it, as it does help out the channel. And also thank you to viewers like you who are helping to make videos like this possible. You guys are making a huge difference, so thank you so much. And if you would like to be a part of that as well and help make videos like this possible on a monthly basis, you can go to rafaeldifuria.com/Patreon, or if you can only help out once, you can go to rafaeldifuria.com/support. And for shirts, mugs, baby onesies, and more that also help to make videos like this possible, you can go to rafaeldifuria.com/NYAG gear. All of the links are down in the more info section below. So this video is not going to be in any order in particular. I'm not going to read the specific messages that I've received. Most of these messages come through email. Sometimes they come through Facebook messages. Part of the problem is I can't track down the messages because I end up sometimes getting a few hundred messages per month, and I'm seeing a lot of the same questions come up over and over again. And these are questions that I don't have the final answer to, but this is just my response to those questions. So from this point on, whenever I get these questions, this is the video that I will be sending out. Let's start out with some of the simple questions and get into the whole marriage thing later. This one actually I've seen a number of times in the comment sections of my videos. The question is, can you move to Italy without the language? Can you move to Italy and get a job without Italian here? You absolutely need Italian if you want to work in Italy and are not able to rely on working online or getting a job with a company that is English speaking, or if you are not a native English speaker and can't teach English. There are people who I know about who do teach English who are not native speakers of English, but generally an English degree is in there somewhere, if at least a TEFL. But for non-native speakers, I've seen places that will say that a TEFL certificate is not good enough. If you want to work even in McDonald's here, you'll need at least some of the language, at least basic linguistic skills. For manual labor, you will also need some linguistic skills. This is something where I still struggle very much when it comes to language. I've been able to figure out how to more or less make a living online, probably less than more, but I did not come to Italy to get rich. I came to Italy to just enjoy life. So this actually leads me into my next question that I get quite often. Can I move to Italy and get a job? Is it hard to get a job in Italy? Can I just take a vacation to Italy and get a job? When it comes to taking a vacation to Italy and getting a job, this is something I would absolutely say do not do. You'll get yourself into a lot of trouble, especially if you get caught. If you come to Italy on a tourist visa and try to work here and get caught, you will more than likely get kicked out of the country. And if you get caught in a grave enough offense, you will also have an exclusion period, not only from Italy, but as well as the Schengen area and the European Union. So that means no access to the continent pretty much for X amount of years. I've heard 5 years, 7 years, 10 years. Depends on what happens and what you do. And nobody is exempt from this. It doesn't matter where you're from, what your skin color is. I know this has happened probably to more Americans than I know of any other group of people, especially young kids coming here. Oh, I want to come spend the summer in Italy, and oh, I'll just teach English. It'll just be fun and easy. No, you don't just come into Italy and just get a job. It's not how it works. It doesn't work like that. If you want to work in Italy, you need to do that legally. And if you want to do that legally, that means you need to apply for a visa in your country. You cannot apply for a work visa in Italy. There might be a possibility to apply for a student visa while here, but that's something I really don't know about when it comes to student visas and even getting a work visa here in general. This is not a subject that I'm the most familiar with. I have some basic knowledge that, like, if you are wanting to work here, you need to have pretty much a contract already in place, ready to go, and the job has to be willing to sponsor that visa as well. But you'll find a lot of times that the jobs will require that you have the actual permesso di soggiorno, a permission of stay. So you need the job to get the permesso, but you need the permesso to get the job. It's a tough cycle to get into, but if you can figure out how to just jump in on that in the right place in the right time, then you can get into that. A self-employment visa is supposed to be quite difficult to get, but this is again something I don't know that much about. All I know is that it's very difficult to get. Also, let's talk about citizenship and legal advice. I get a lot of emails about asking for legal advice, asking, should I do this or should I do that? Can I do this or can I do that? But like I tell everybody, and I thought it was pretty clear until this point, but I guess this is something that I actually have to verbally say and make even more clear, that I am not a legal professional. I am not a lawyer. I am not a paralegal. I do not work in that field in that capacity. I do offer some private coaching and consultations on making that transition to life in Italy and to making that work here and to making a life for yourself here in Italy. But these are non-legal consultations. These are also for people who are looking for more information than maybe what I've shared in my videos already, or maybe more personalized information than what I've already been able to share. The only area where I can offer some opinions is when it comes to dual citizenship by descent and dual citizenship by marriage. But I don't personally help people through that process. But for people who are interested in that process, I can make recommendations about that. And for the recommendation that I can make, I would say either contact me specifically by email. You can go to my website, rafaeldifuria.com, and you can contact me through there. And I am more than happy to make a recommendation. But right now, the recommendation that I would make for more information about that, they actually happen to be running a special offer of a 10% discount for their services in regard to these things, but not like coming here to get a work visa. But again, this is for citizenship by marriage and citizenship by descent. Go to my video, the first video here in Rovigo. I believe in the thumbnail it says Rovigo, Italy is where I call home. It's a tour around this city that I now live in and call home. So in that video, you will be able to find more information there about the recommendation that I would make for that. But I get a lot of questions about, can you help me to get a visa? Can you help me to become a citizen of Italy? Or how do I become a citizen of Italy? What do I need to do for it? Again, I can't offer legal advice on these things. I know some things about these subjects, but really the best thing that I can say is to find an immigration lawyer. I've been approached by a lot of lawyers. I've been approached by a number of firms. And even there was one company based, I think, in, if I remember correctly, Bangladesh or something like this. And the guy said, I want to create a partnership with you. I want you to get me visas, and then I'll just bring clients. And I'm like, I can't get visas. It's not like you go to the store and like you just kind of say, oh yes sir, I'll take half a kilo of visas, just the good kind. This is not how it works. And I've had people contacting me in this way, like for all kinds of crazy things that are probably not even legal. Actually, there are times where it does make me laugh. And that takes me back to where I started out in this video. I've been proposed to, I've lost count. I've lost track of how many times it's happened so far. This is something I never thought I would talk about in a video, because this to me is the strangest thing. It's not like a humble brag. It's not like any kind of brag. It's just something that weirds me out completely. But this is something that has happened plenty of times, and more than I would even like to even try to count. I already have lost count a long time ago. Yeah, I would never consider this kind of marriage ever. The idea that someone wants a sham marriage just so that they can get a visa, that's ridiculous. I've been offered money to do this as well. I've been offered a few €100, a few €1,000. There was one person offered a few €100,000, still turned that down, have yet to be offered a few million, and for a few million, right? Well, no. I very much could use even a few 100,000. That would make a big difference right now. But it's not worth it. Totally not worth it. Even getting married in Italy is a whole different sort of process, to my understanding, my limited understanding of that anyway. And it's not just women who have asked for this, but also men that say, and even there was one guy, he actually contacted me and he actually contacted someone else who I know. But my interaction with this person was, they said, I'm wanting to come to Italy and get married. I was like, very nice. Like, that's great. And hope you have everything ready to go. And congratulations. I guess the person said, no, I'm looking for someone to get married to. Do you know anyone? The guy said, they don't even have to be living in the same house. He doesn't care. He'll pay for whatever, just as long as he can get married to the person. I'm like, dude, you clearly don't even understand how marriage in Italy works. Like, you haven't even looked at the basic things. And part of getting married in Italy, if I'm not misunderstanding, is actually cohabitation and like actually having a police check for residency to make sure that you and your supposed spouse actually are a married couple. So no, I would not consider that kind of marriage myself, nor will I help someone to find that kind of marriage. This is very illegal and you can get in pretty big trouble. So no thank you. Emails and private messages, and these set off red flags in my head. Like there was someone earlier today even. The way that I understood it was that this person has a permesso di soggiorno for family reasons, for basically like a marriage visa, it sounded like, is currently living in Germany, but wants to change the permesso di soggiorno that he has to something else. So this was to me a big red flag. Like, wait, you have an Italian visa, but you're in Germany. That's not how it works. But then also it sounded like, wait, you have this basically what should be a marriage visa. It's not always. Very often, in most of the cases I've personally heard about, it ends up being used as a marriage visa. And he's wanting to change it to a different visa. Basically, a marriage visa in Italy is golden. It actually allows you to live in Italy unrestricted, to have access to medical care here, and also the ability to work in the country. So it sounded a little bit strange to me. Just this kind of thing. There was some red flags popping up. And if red flags are popping up in my mind, I can only imagine what an Italian official might be thinking. I generally have a pretty good indication of how things will end up going, just because of some of the familiarity that I do have with the system, just from personal experience and also experiences that I've heard from other people. But in Italy, I've noticed a much lower tolerance when it comes to like things sounding a little weird. Like things that may sound like a little weird to me, I've noticed to maybe an Italian might sound like really strange, far out, foreign. And Italian officials seem to be very particular when it comes to these sorts of things, especially if there's any kind of red flag that could come in the way of citizenship or residency, somebody coming to actually spend time in Italy. If it sounds sketchy to me, I would assume that it would sound even way more sketchy to them. I really do genuinely wish that I could help more people, but I don't have the knowledge base to do that necessarily. I do have knowledge when it comes to Italian citizenship by descent, Italian citizenship by marriage, but that's roughly about where it ends. If we're talking about citizenship through residency, then I know the basics of that you have to be residing in Italy for 10 years. And then once you've resided in Italy for 10 years, you have to have Italian B1 level language proficiency certification. Once you have all of those years of residency, legal residency under your belt, and the Italian language certification under your belt as well, then in that case, you should be eligible to apply for Italian citizenship by naturalization. But that process, if I'm not mistaken, if I remember correctly off the top of my head, that process has to take now at least 48 months in total. So that means an extra 4 years. We're talking about 14 years total. And this is something I have spoken about in the past in another video anyway. So like I said earlier in the video, I do offer private non-legal consultations and coaching for moving to Italy and making that transition into life in Italy, but I don't offer any kind of legal advice or legal assistance. Whatever general information that I happen to know, I'm more than happy to share it in a video, and that's why we're approaching 100 videos on this channel. Not all of these videos are necessarily exactly only on Italian dual citizenship, but it's about also living life in Italy and making a life for yourself here. Even recently, we've been doing a little bit of traveling around the country and getting to see a little bit more outdoors. I'm hoping to do more of this as time goes on as well. But after a few weeks out and about, so I wanted to do something at home, kind of more in this normal setup, usual setup, and microphone, camera on a tripod, lights, and just here. Still wanting to work on the background of it. I haven't had any time for that since moving into this place. Everything's been just hectic. But anyway, I thank you guys so much for your understanding of the situation, and I'm really sorry that I'm not able to help in those ways. In these videos, I share the information that I can, along with some of my opinions from time to time. But anyway, even if this video hasn't given the answers that you may have been looking for, I hope this video at least helped you in some way, at least to understand where I'm coming from. Because I get a lot of these messages, and I felt as though it's time maybe to make a piece of content to share for each time that I get one of these messages, and that I'm just not able to help in those ways. But no matter who you are, no matter where you're from, I do truly wish you all the best, and always say the same thing, that if you have a dream and really are willing to push to make it come true, then anything is possible. It's not easy, but can very much be worth it. Anyway, I also hope you've enjoyed this video, and if you'd like to see more content like this about moving to Italy, Italian dual citizenship, and living life abroad, please be sure to subscribe with that notification bell turned on, and if you could also give this video a like, I'd really appreciate it, as it does help out the channel. And of course, if you'd like to help make more content like this possible, you can go to rafaeldfuria.com/Patreon to help on a monthly basis, but to help out just once, you can go to rafaeldfuria.com/support. For shirts, mugs, baby onesies, and more, you can go to rafaeldfuria.com/NYAG gear. All of the links are down below, and thank you to all of you who have been making these videos possible, especially the patrons, the monthly patrons. Thank you so much. And as always, I'm Rafael Di Furia, aka Rafi D is me. Thank you for joining me on another beautiful Friday night. I hope you all have a fantastic weekend, and I look forward to seeing you all next Friday night. Have a great one. Later.